There I am, age 2. Musical minis, what a joy? If I'm honest, I can't ever remember going to a musical mini session. I'm not even sure I actually know what it is now. But toddler me appeared to love it, so much so that it became the theme for my second birthday party. I often go back to this video when I'm being a depressed sod and want to feel like a kid again. What's that you got there, Molly? Yeah, I don't know, I'm the kid. Should we sing some songs instead? Ah, yes. The classic Hokey Cokey. Or is it Hokey Pokey? I used to get into arguments over that, and now I can't even remember how to say it myself. Gran loves that one. Look, here she comes now, barging her way into the circle. If you think you're doing that song without her, think again. Gran's such a great person. Both my parents worked full time, so she took on a lot of the responsibility with raising me. Church holiday clubs, dance recitals, gymkhanas. She'd be there. Not to disrespect my parents or anything. I knew their long hours were for me, and despite the 9 till 5 shifts, they always managed to be present. I just seem to remember a lot of growing up involving Gran. Like the Saturday night sleepovers. Oh, the sleepovers. There's a room upstairs in my Gran's bungalow that constantly got decorated as our interests changed. It's a tip now, full of old toys, but the paintwork's still there. Our parents would drop us off with a takeaway pizza between us, and there we were till Sunday morning. I usually watched TV with Grandpa, or played in the garden with Gran. There's a photo of her somewhere, on the slide of the climbing frame. You've got to see it, it's great. Once we were completely worn out, my brother would sleep in an almost tunnel-like extension of the room, while Gran and I shared the sofa bed, with Tom Bear, of course. This is Tom Bear. I've had him since I was 2. Pretty sure he was a birthday present from my dad. Couldn't sleep without him. Still can't. We spent a lot of time together when I was little. Why am I telling you that? I've just got a whole spiel about that. Of course you know. But then I became a teenager, so that was great. Affection scares me. Has done for years. The moment you start to show affection, you get attached. I stopped spending time with her. Would only see her if I had to. My brother didn't, because he's not scared of showing emotion. He's normal. It's not the only reason, but I guess that insecurity is one of the reasons we don't get on. That developed into jealousy, I guess. Part of my brain will always tell me that she preferred him because of it. She always preferred him. And I was always too scared to do anything about it. Too scared to get attached. Too stubborn. You know, in all my memory, I can only remember one time that we hugged. My baptism. It was horrible. Neither of us knew what to do. I just kind of stood there, drenched in lake water, while he briefly wrapped his arms around me. It was horrible and I never want to do it again, but I knew it made her happy. Even when I pushed her away, she still managed to be there. She was one of the first people to find out about my uni offers. 2 unconditionals and a scholarship. She was so happy. She was the first to hear about my driving test. So excited to have me drive her for a weekly Asda trip. I hate Asda trips. The week after my mum's birthday, we were going to go around hers and have a socially distanced takeaway in the garden. She went to Asda with my uncle, wanting to buy ice cream for after. It was supposed to be a really sunny day after all. Then she went and had a stroke in the car park. Ended up in A&E. Then the ICU. We didn't know that though. We'd just been told she felt a little bit sick. And she's very health aware, constantly taking her vitamins, making sure she got her 5 a day, doing her Pilates. One time she got a hip replacement, and the doctor told her she'd be bedridden for about 6 weeks. She was up and about by 3. Anyway, my parents went down to check on her, and I stayed at home and looked after the house. Then I got a call from my dad. Do you want to come and say goodbye to Gran? Oh. I was the last family member to arrive. It's such a cliche line, but Death is a strange thing, isn't it? I always had the luxury of not witnessing anything more than the family cat. But it hits different when they're a person. Someone who was probably there to witness my first breaths, and I was now seeing their last. I was the youngest there. There's some advantages to being the baby of the family. You haven't known the person for as long. You aren't as attached to some other people in the room, especially when you're me, but we've covered that. Emotions are scary. Being the baby has its cons. You aren't as attached. When she went, I looked around that room and saw my mum who had just lost hers. My grandpa who had loved her for over 64 years, till death do us part. My auntie who, though being in her life for less time than the rest of us, had been welcomed into our family by her with open arms. I had to tell the nurse she's gone, because I knew no one else could. There's a band I like, Stray Kids. It's a stupid name, but it suits them. Anyway, they have a song. Of course they do, they're a band. It's called Sunshine. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that's just calming. It's a comfort song. Han Ji-sung has a way with words. I don't 100% know what they are, because I'm not fluent. But even just the music itself has a way that can make you relax. When we got home that night, I went upstairs and put that song on repeat and just sobbed, clinging on to Tomba. You don't realise how good it is to cry without a mask on. Because obviously this is in peak COVID times, summer of 2020. We technically broke the law that day in hospital, but who's going to tell a grieving family that they can only have one visitor at a time? We sat in that ward all afternoon, with our tears being caught by the pieces of cloth on our face that allowed us to be next to each other. When we left the hospital that day, they asked if we wanted her teeth, her dentures. In the panic of the moment, we said, yeah, why not? We couldn't bear to leave any part of her behind, so we took them home, in a plastic cup with a tissue lid. When we checked her will, the third clause was that they were to be donated to the British Dentistry Museum. She's mad. The second was that her eyes were to be donated. And within a week, my grandpa got a letter saying that, because of her, someone could now see. It's been... how long now? 6 months? Flipping heck, half a year without her. And yet, when I go down to help Grandpa go about his day, there always appears to be another newsletter from another charity she helped. She still gets posts thanking her for her support. This film, script, self-therapy session, because I don't want to admit I'm depressed, was written by A.B. Moore. The A is the only part of the stupid pseudonym that's directly from me. The B's from Bain, my mum's maiden name and Gran's married name. The Moore from Morehouse, Gran's maiden name. I didn't know that until we were looking for her mother's grave to spread her ashes on, but that pseudonym is who I want to be. If I can be half the person she was, I would have succeeded at life, and yes, it's just a name, but it's also the meaning behind it. It's my motivation to be a better person. For her. For Jane. For Gran.